on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about some weird facts about the UK. As Americans, we really do not have a good understanding of what life is really like in the UK. So I'm actually very excited for this video because it's just 10 random ways that the UK is different to America. 10 random ways that life in the UK is different to life in the United States, and I have no idea what to expect, which is kind of fun. So let's take a look.
10 weird facts about the UK. Weights and measures. Depending on where you grew up, in school you learned about either the imperial or metric form of measurement.
Yes.
While there's the occasional overlap in methods in our daily lives, in the UK it appears that both methods are found literally everywhere.
Wait, what? I thought America was the only one who does this. I thought, wait a minute, the UK and the United States have more in common than I ever thought. Wait a minute, this is fantastic. Right off the bat, I figured this was just going to be stuff that's different between America and the UK. But I always thought America were the weird ones, right? We're like the strange people using the imperial system of measurement. And I still think we use it the most. I mean, we use it like exclusively, basically. It's pretty rare that we use any metric system at all, except in science and like track and field and stuff. And I don't know, this just has me curious. Does the UK actually use the imperial system of measurement? Even a little bit makes me feel a little better, a little more bonded with the UK. What?
Methods in our daily lives. In the UK, it appears that both methods are found literally everywhere.
Both?
In the store, drinks on the same shelf can be found in pints and liters. Gasoline is sold by the liter, but consumption of it is measured by the gallon. Food at the store...
Wait a minute. Okay, I thought this was a good thing. Now I'm just thinking this is incredibly confusing because as silly as we may be here in America with our weird system of measurement, it's at least consistent. Like, it's just gallons. It's just Fahrenheit. It's just inches and feet. If you kind of combined it, where sometimes you're using metric and sometimes you're using imperial, that actually sounds really confusing. Wait a minute. How do people in the UK even do this or remember?
Or recipes for cooking and measurements for various sports are all over the place. Word pronunciation.
That's it? That's all the explanation I get. Maybe it's kind of like in the United States, where in the UK, do you use metric for science, for liters, maybe for measuring liquids, and then here in America, we use like meters for track and field, like the 100 meter dash, 400 meters, 1600 meters for a mile. So maybe it's that kind of thing? I don't know. This actually left me a little more confused because I actually assumed that the UK only uses metric like most other places. I thought America was the only ones actually that used imperial? This is fascinating to me, actually. But I'm also a bit confused, which is normal. What else do we have here? Word pronunciation. Oh, certainly. Okay, yeah, I mean, we pronounce words differently. What? This does not shock me.
Okay, it is true. Much of the world got its language from the British. That said, while we are sure they can make fun of the way we say certain words, the UK also has some pretty weird ways of saying everyday words.
Some pretty weird ways. I think this whole concept is kind of funny, isn't it, when I think about it? Because to people in the UK, this is just normal. This is just the correct way to pronounce words, the correct way to measure things. It's only weird from my American point of view. Maybe we're the weird ones. Nah, couldn't be. Now, this stuff is so weird. But I do understand that relationship can change.
Name like Leicester and Worcestershire can cause tourists problems because they aren't pronounced anything like how they look.
Yeah, I would say Leicester. Oh gosh, this sounds so bad. If I just read it, Leicester and Worcestershire. Worcestershire, I think is... How do you do it?
Leicester and Worcestershire can cause...
Worcestershire? Worcestershire? Is this the correct way?
Tourist problems because they aren't pronounced anything like how they look. Other words can be just as weird. For example, vitamins is pronounced vitamins.
Okay, this is just like the British, like UK accent at this point. Vitamins, vitamins. Back to the narrator's points, like even Edinburgh, I learned is like Edinburgh. It's not like how it's spelled. It's Edinburgh, not Edinburgh. Like there are weird little things like that where even looking at it, I wouldn't know how to pronounce it correctly. And then there's just stuff like this, where it's just accents, privacy instead of privacy, as we say it.
Privacy is pronounced privacy, and garage is pronounced garage.
Garage. Oh my gosh, this is classic. Like here in the United States, it's so funny. When I hear it pronounced like this, I just think, oh, how fancy. I don't know. What do what do people in the UK think when you hear us saying garage, privacy, vitamin? Like, is it just like unbearable? Just disgusting peasant speech and
Ugh, Marmite.
Marmite. The Marmite. I'm so glad this is on this list because it baffles me to this day. I've learned a little bit about Marmite before.
We couldn't have a discussion about the weird things of the UK without bringing up Marmite.
Yeah.
This food is a dark paste made from yeast extract, which people either love or hate.
Well, at least that makes sense. It's still so weird. This totally belongs on the list. Marmite is so weird. This dark paste from yeast extract, it's like scraped off the bottom of a vat or something. But it makes sense to me. The only thing that makes sense to me is people either love this or hate it. I feel like that's how it would be received in America too, if it was a thing.
Created in the 19th century, versions of this bread can be found throughout the world, but the original can still be found in the UK, where people spread it on crackers and toast or even mix it with hot water.
What?
Most people new to this
Mix it with hot water? Like to have Marmite water? Or why?
spread can't get past the fact that it looks like brown glue and smells bad.
Yeah.
There are even videos people have posted of friends challenging each other to eat this very British spread.
Right, even if it's any good, I've never had it before. I think there's like a mental barrier to the color and the texture, and I think there's a smell and just like the how it's made, like yeast extract. Like what even is that?
Geordie Shore. If you ever thought
Geordie Shore. Geordie Shore. Is that like Jersey Shore? What is this?
the show Jersey Shore was weird, then you have to watch the British version, Geordie Shore.
There's a British version of Jersey Shore? I never watched Jersey Shore all that much, but you don't have to have watched it. It's like a pop culture icon reference at this point. Everyone knows the name Jersey Shore. I did not know about Geordie Shore. Geordie is a place in the UK? Is it? And somehow they got it as like a similar cast of characters, or because the Jersey Shore people are very, very, very famous in America, and I think it's like I'm sure other countries around the world know Jersey Shore. It was that big and crazy.
This program focuses on a group of people from the Newcastle area of northern England with their very ridiculous storylines. Viewers spend most of the time watching the cast date each other, stab each other in the
Okay.
back, and make up only to repeat the process over and over.
So, like trashy reality TV is also popular in Britain as well. I didn't know that.
Full faked hands, overly tight clothing, and questionable hairstyles prove that this has to be a classic Jersey Shore spin-off. We're just not sure if
Wow.
foreigners will be able to understand what the cast is actually saying thanks to their thick Geordie accents.
Oh, Geordie accent. I don't even know what the Geordie accent is. That would be hilarious to see this. I'm sure Americans who are fans of Jersey Shore would love this spin-off. I'm positive.
Accents. Since
Accents. Oh, I thought we already... Earlier we were talking about pronunciation, like vitamin. Maybe, is that different than an accent? I guess it's different. Pronouncing garage and garage, vitamin and vitamin. I guess that's different than an accent. It's pronunciation. Okay, I guess it is different.
Since we're on the topic of Geordie accents, why not mention the fact that the UK is full of many weird sounding accents?
The weird. The way they phrase this. I mean, even to people in the UK, do you think that the UK is full of weird sounding accents? I think to people in the UK, it's just normal. It doesn't sound all that weird. The American accent probably sounds kind of weird.
It's like every region of the UK has a completely distinct accent.
Now, that is weird to us Americans. Like, to be truthful, the narrator is correct. It's definitely weird to me. And the idea that there's so many accents is incredible, but also like confusing and a lot, and also kind of beautiful in a way.
A confusing greeting. Around the world, there are a number of ways people greet one another. We're used to such greetings as hello or hi. In the UK, more than one foreigner has been thrown off when a local greets them saying, "You all right?" To a North American, when someone asks that,
You are right. I've heard of this before. The British, you are right. That's funny. Yeah, because it makes no sense here in the United States. It's even like, it's almost an insult in a way. It would come across as negative. Like, I would interpret that very literally, because it's not a greeting here. So if someone said, "You are right," I'd just be like, what is something wrong? Do I not look all right? Like, what do you mean? Is there are we having a problem here? I thought everything was all right. Somehow by saying "you all right," it implies the opposite, because it's kind of the default that things are all right, and we just never say that unless something's wrong, I guess. So it's literally the opposite here in America. Like, you never say "you all right," like unless someone looks sick or something.
we immediately think that we either look sick or have been acting improperly. In
Yeah.
fact, in the UK, "you all right?" is just their way of asking, "How are you?"
That's funny. We don't really, like, we say "what's up?" "How's it going?" Like, which you could answer literally. And if someone said, "How's it going?" But it's really just a greeting, like "hello." And I think that's what it is in the UK. "You all right?" It's not really a question. It's just hello. It's a way of saying hello.
But it has no doubt led to some uncomfortable moments for both tourists and visitors.
Yeah.
Strange laws. It's just common sense that when you travel to a foreign country, you learn their laws. Head to the UK and you are sure to find a few laws created many years ago that'll make you take notice.
Yeah. I mean, you should definitely try to learn, like, the laws that really affect you. The first thing that comes to mind in the UK is that you driving on the opposite side of the road, but there's bound to be weird little laws that you're not even gonna have ever heard of, and it's not even really your fault. But you should know the stuff that's obvious, or the stuff that's really critical to living or visiting another country, for sure.
For instance, it's illegal to wear a suit of armor into the House of Parliament.
Right, like this. Like, this kind of law, it doesn't even matter anymore.
Once
At least I don't think.
inside Parliament, it's also illegal to die. If
Ah.
you're heading on down to the seaside, be sure not to harm any whales, dolphins, or sturgeon, as every one of those creatures within 3 miles of the shore belongs to the Queen. Two
Okay.
taps for water. When
2 taps for water. Taps. We don't really say taps. Two faucets for water in the UK, right?
asked about what weird things stood out in the UK, Reddit users were very vocal about the fact that many places use 2 separate taps. Travelers note that one tap supplies boiling hot water while the other is ice cold.
Yeah. How common is this? Like, I thought this was an older thing. In newer buildings, newer developments in the UK, isn't there going to be one faucet or one tap? I would assume so. There's no real benefit to this if you can just have one and control the temperature. Yeah, there's really no benefit. I think back in the day, this was for safety or something, to fight bacteria or something.
This can make washing your hands a bit challenging and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
More than one traveler has complained about having to wash their hands in ice-cold water because there is no single faucet, as it is so common in North America. We figure the people of the UK either lack nerve endings in their
What?
hands, or they are just a tougher breed of people.
Just a tougher breed. having to wash your hands, it's it's horrible, because you have to pick between freezing your hand in super cold water or burning your hand, or you can just switch between them really quick and be like, oh, ah, oh, ah, like choose the pain that you want, or try to splash them together. I'd love to know how common this actually is, because this makes it out to seem that this is just all over the place in the UK. Two taps.
Drinking age. On the surface, the drinking
Hmm.
laws in the UK sound fairly similar to those in North America. Across the
Okay.
Atlantic, the drinking age is 18. That sounds pretty good to a lot of the kids in North America.
18. Okay, 18. Yeah, here in America, it's been 21 for so long, and everyone thinks it's kind of ridiculous, really.
However, go to a licensed establishment when you're 16 or 17, and you can also drink as long as you are there with an adult and the drink is served with your meal. In your
Oh, really? So you can technically drink as young as 16? If you're with an adult, which makes a lot of sense to me. It's really it probably develops a healthier relationship between teenagers and alcohol, honestly. Because here in America, you go through your teenage years and, I mean, into your adult life. You're 20 years old. Then finally, 21, when you can legally drink. And I think it just encourages a lot of young American children and teenagers and to just have to drink illegally because people want to drink when they're 18, 19, 20 years old, and that's not unreasonable. So it's very strange to me in a lot of Americans that it's so freaking high. 21 here in America. It's pretty silly, especially when I hear about the drinking age like this in the UK, that you can do it as young as 16. It makes it seem so silly here. We don't think about it too much because it's normal here. It's also kind of normal to, I don't know, you didn't hear this from me, but maybe have a drink before you're 21 years of age. So, and that's, it just promotes breaking the law. It's not good.
own house or any other private establishment, the drinking age drops dramatically, and anyone over 5 years of age can legally drink.
Wait, what?
Establishment, the drinking age drops dramatically, and anyone over 5 years of age can legally drink alcohol.
In your home, you can drink after the age of 5? Is this a thing? In a private establishment or house when you're over 5. Like if you're at home, your parents can give you a drink. If you're over 5, though, I understand like 16, whatever, 15, whatever. 5, like people are like having drinks when they're 10? Is this a thing? I don't maybe that's normal in the UK, and it's just weird to me as an American cuz I feel like I've been almost trained in my upbringing in America to be so hyper aware of the legal drinking age. 21, 21. Never drink before you're 21. So this is actually kind of fun to hear about how this is very different. Very different relationship between kids and alcohol in other countries like the UK. And it's probably a good thing. Because in America, young kids see alcohol as this, taboo, forbidden thing. And kids want to rebel, want to do what they're not supposed to do. So it encourages kids to drink and break the law in America. So, yeah, we should definitely consider changing this.
Alcohol. Sandwiches. Who doesn't love sandwiches? Yes, it is
True.
generally agreed that we have the British to thank for our tasty creation, and specifically John Montagu, the 4th Earl of Sandwich.
The Earl of Sandwich. There's a guy named Sandwich? Sandwiches were credited with being created in the UK. Sandwiches. Like, couldn't some caveman or something, or some villager from, like, thousands and thousands of years ago, or like someone building the pyramids, have put 2 pieces of bread and something in between and eaten a sandwich? Maybe the name is definitely from this John Montagu, Earl of Sandwich. But I'm sure some point in history, someone had a sandwich without knowing it.
Of course, adding their own weird twist to the sandwich, travelers to the UK may stumble across a sandwich known as the Chip Buddy. What is this? The Chip
Chip Buddy.
Buddy involves cramming french fries between two slices of bread and adding condiments of your choosing.
Wow.
Definitely not a low carb option. The Chip Buddy is weird, but also sounds really delicious.
Whoa, is this a thing? In the UK, the Chip Buddy, it has a name. I would have said that putting french fries or chips in between bread and eating it like a sandwich would be popular in America, but it's not really. Like, there's no name for this. No one even really does it. So funny enough, as much as this feels like a thing Americans would like, we don't do this. And certainly don't have it. But I like the name, Chip Buddy, if you're gonna do it.
We hope you found some of these things about the UK just plain weird. Here's
Oh, yes. Weird but enjoyable. That was very good. That was by The Richest. And I got to give that video a like because that was very, very entertaining, actually. UK, Britain, you're weird in the best way possible. And honestly, weird in some ways that I wish the United States was weird in. And by weird, of course, we just mean different. Like all of us, all of our different countries and cultures are different. And this was actually super fun to see how the UK does some things pretty differently than America. I actually think it's quite helpful and a positive thing for Americans like myself to get exposed to other ways of living and doing things. I think it's very good. So I actually really, really enjoyed this video and the 10 weird facts for that reason. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment, perhaps with your thoughts on these weird things that happen in the UK. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to the UK and UK culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.